run, 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 run.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ACS Universe podcast. This is episode 8. I'm ACS, and how y'all been? I haven't really done a podcast in a minute, and let's see, I hadn't really done anything on my YouTube channel in a minute. I know last week I did a reaction to season 2, episode 1 of Krypton, which was really good. I like the direction they're going with that. Krypton's a solid show, but other than that, I haven't really done anything. Did a couple of podcasts with Sis Nerdly and threw those up there. But so how you guys been? How you guys doing? I've been great. Been real busy at work. Looking forward to dropping some more, as much content as I can in the near future. I'm gonna talk about a couple things today, a couple topics. Nothing really too. Well, yeah, some big shit, some serious shit. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Zack Snyder, the main man, dropping some photos, some Snyder cut stuff. Talk about that Avengers game. You know, J.J. Abrams. Just talk about a couple things and something that I have coming in the future that I think you guys are going to be like very, very interested in. But I'm going to start it off with the man himself, Zack Snyder, dropping these photographs, man, from like his cut of Justice League. You know, the dark side one with all the ships around, and then the other one where Ray Fisher, Cyborg, Vic Stone is watching his family, and I guess it's supposed to be that the mother box like is feeding him bad information, trying to draw him in, trying to do some evil shit to him. Hey, all that shit's cool. I love it. Every time he drops something like that, I love it. And that brings me to the Snyder Cut. Like, Warner Brothers released that shit. Okay, I love the movement. I love what they're doing. They're donating money. There's all kinds of shit going on with this Snyder Cut stuff. And so I'm down with it, right? I'm down with it. However, I honestly believe that we're going to get it at some point in time. But the 2% chance out of 100 that we don't get it, like say 10 years from now, we're still waiting on the Snyder Cut of Justice League. All of this stuff that Zack's releasing is going to be like a straight gut punch. You know what I mean? Like, quit reminding me of what I could have had and just give it to me. So that's up to Warner Brothers. And now that, another thing too, you know what really fucking grinds my gears? And I keep my shit in control because I see it on fucking social media all the time. Is like, if you don't agree with the Snyder Cut movement, that's fine. Nobody's asking you to, nobody's trying to make you, nobody's holding a gun to your head and saying, hey, you better fucking donate or agree with the Snyder Cut movement. Nobody's doing that. However, if you don't agree with it, just don't agree with it and move the fuck on. That shit, all the hate it gets, just dissing people, you know, it just, y'all getting your hopes up for nothing. Yeah, you can fucking miss me with that shit. That shit grinds me like no other. And I really ain't said shit, blasted back, try to clap back at nobody for it. Just, you know, stay in my fucking lane. But that shit is just drop it. Let us Snyder Cut people still believe in the Snyder Cut, and you go ahead and believe in what the fuck you want to believe in. I really can care less. Just quit hating on it, because if it happens, and see, remember when Zack Snyder at his little event, that's what shut up a lot of motherfuckers. A lot of people who were talking shit, they got shut up when Zack came out and said, oh no, it's done. Yeah, it's just, and when they heard that out of the fucking horse's mouth, that entire event was the shit. When he talking about people getting on to him because Batman kills, and he's like, wake the fuck up. It's amazing. It's amazing. Brought the haters out of the woodwork. And that's, you know, and the thing about it is, to me, when it comes to my main man, Zack Snyder, always been loving his work, man, is that people just can't keep his name out of their mouths. I mean, people still talking about BVS, hating on it to this day. I mean, I think you kind of like it, and you don't want to admit you like it because you've been saying you hate it since day one. So you're going to continue to, every time something happens with the Snyder Cut or anything, you know, make sure you mention that you don't like BVS or that you don't like Zack Snyder. That's cool, man. You do you. Go ahead and stress yourself the fuck out while the rest of us sit over here and get money together, get t-shirts made, get shit that that's gonna happen at Comic-Con this year. Let us do that shit in peace. Leave us the fuck alone. And maybe that should have changed. I mean, J.J. Abrams and Zack Snyder, like, they're friends. Like in real life, they're friends. And so Warner Brothers had the winning bid for his Bad Robot. whatever they got going on with that shit for Warner Media. Maybe he might step in and make some fucking changes, man. Who knows at this point? Warner Brothers has done a lot of stuff with their rights to DC that I feeling a little uncomfortable with, I guess, for the near future. I mean, maybe they know what the fuck they're doing. Maybe they do. I just like the DC Universe stuff I subscribe to that. Swamp Thing, everybody seems to love it. They just canceled that shit. I'm hearing maybe they might cancel every single series on there except for Titans. Titans is the only one I have watched. I haven't watched Swamp Thing and I hadn't watched Doom Patrol. I'm getting around to it. Don't worry. I kind of wish I could do reactions to that shit. But anyway, with that being said, a lot of the stuff they're doing is just kind of like, okay, somebody needs to come in there and with the Snyder Cut too, it's also like I feel like if they release it, that proves everybody right and it proves them wrong. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we made a mistake. Dude, look, Zack Snyder went out there and filmed this movie and y'all came in there and fucked it up. And I'm rather embarrassed about my review of Justice League. I had seen it twice opening weekend, did a review, kind of loved it, kind of gave it a high fucking score. And then as I kept watching it, I was like, this movie's fucking trash. Especially once you find out, kind of what they kept out of the movie, how bad they messed with Zack, how bad they fucked Zack by changing some shit. That's pretty much unfucking forgivable. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, hopefully we get the Snyder Cut soon. I do believe in getting the Snyder Cut, but oh man, don't quit posting the stuff, man, if we're not going to get it. Hopefully he has something in the works. Maybe that'd be bomb ass if that shit like premieres at Comic-Con this year. You know what I'm saying? So last week, first off, they had been advertising, talking about this Avengers video game for like a while. They come out with this Avengers video game, and these days you understand that like there have been a lot of hiccups in the past with creating video games off of other properties like that. And so I figured when I heard about it, I was like, shit, I bet it's gonna be tight as fuck. Like they're gonna fucking make sure this shit's epic. So first question. Well, I'll get to the question in a second. The only reason this game was made or is still in production is because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's the only reason. Now, I'm not to say that nobody would have wanted to see an Avengers game, but this game doesn't get made without the popularity of these characters created by the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You understand what I'm saying? Like nobody's just jumping out there, because if that's the case, the game would have already been made years ago. That's just my opinion on it. So you got this game and they decide to make an Avengers game, and they're like, here's my question. How? If you're thinking in your right mind, if you're coming up with ideas for an Avengers video game on all platforms, high graphics, all that shit, how on earth do you not use the Marvel Cinematic Universe look and voice? That shit's in the actors' contracts, that they can use their likenesses and toys and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Their likenesses in other video games, those phone video games and shit. How the fuck? So that's one of those things where like the people who made the game were like, nah, we want to differentiate ourselves from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and end up looking like straight trash. Like that shit. And you know what? I have to be honest, that's jarring. Like when I first watched the trailer, when it first showed that one scene of all of them standing there, it was really jarring to see like, that's not the fucking Avengers. Like you have to use what has made you successful to this point. Like that Cap uniform, that shit is straight garbage. And I have never seen Cap wear anything like that ever. Like, I haven't been like 100% loving every single uniform he's ever worn throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but none of them look trash like that. Black Widow, none of it. And on top of all that shit, the homie Hawkeye is not even in the fucking game. So y'all already didn't include him in an Infinity War, and y'all just go straight up not put him in the game. Yeah, y'all can go ahead with that. I'm pretty sure I won't be purchasing that when it comes out. Look, the gameplay itself, when it showed some of it intertwined in the trailer, it looked okay. It looked kind of decent and shit. But as far as I'm just not feeling that at all. There's no way you do this game after the popularity of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and just be like, no, we're going to go with a totally different look. We want everybody to look different. You know what I'm saying? We don't care about the movies, even though that's the only reason this game has gotten made. That's the attitude I think they had. And I mean, some creators are like that. I mean, the people who sat down and created this game, it's like, I guarantee you, they said, we don't want the characters to look like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We want to differentiate from that. And by doing so, y'all just made something that looks like it could possibly be straight garbage. All right. I'm just putting that shit out there. Those were my initial thoughts in the trailer. Like seeing, especially Cap, because you know that's my favorite character out of the Avengers. Seeing that suit, nah. Y'all can go somewhere with that. So, the MTV Movie Awards come on last night. Yeah. I didn't watch it. I kind of wanted to just because I like Zachary Levi. From what I saw, the little clips I've seen, he did a great job hosting the show. And, the only two things I've seen really that I really, really loved, which I didn't really get to see the Us skit that they did. I just saw the beginning of it. But the one he did for Game of Thrones was hilarious. And then The Rock receiving the Generation Award because I'm a big fan of The Rock's. Yeah, so I didn't watch it and I was kind of happy. I mean, I was able to see those online. And luckily I didn't, waste a couple hours of my life watching, let's just say, the first thing I saw when I opened Twitter this morning was, how the hell did Captain Marvel win Best Fight Scene? Now, I'm told I hadn't really checked on 100%, but I read that it was another fight in that category was Captain America versus Thanos, or that entire fight scene. So you mean to fucking tell me the most iconic, me personally, this is my thoughts, the most iconic moment throughout the MCU was Captain America catching that fucking hammer that got beat out by Captain Marvel. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about that. So you can already tell my feelings on it. And then I see Aquaman didn't win Best Kiss. That scene in Aquaman where they kiss. I'm not a mushy kind of guy, but that scene, that shit was fucking amazing. It was beautiful. It was stunning. It was one of the greatest scenes I've seen in a movie ever. And it was perfectly done. Maybe questionable about when it happened, but that doesn't take away from how good of a scene it is. How the fuck that don't win Best Kiss? I don't even know what did win. I can probably tell you that I don't think anything else was better than that this entire year in movies. But hey, they do what they do. They go ahead and vote like they vote. Endgame won best movie. So, I'm not an Endgame hater, by the way. If y'all have seen my review, I liked Endgame. I thought it was good. I looked at it objectively. I don't look into the details that much because there I am with that shit. And this podcast has turned out to be kind of short. So look, let me tell you guys, hopefully I got some podcasts coming up with some people in the future. I love doing that shit. Okay. I love talking to people. Doing a podcast like this by myself is cool and all, but being able to bounce ideas off somebody else is so much fucking better. And so, but what I have been working on this thing for like over a year. And basically what it is my favorite comic book / superhero films ranked. Yes, ranked. Okay. And, throughout my history on YouTube, I've, did movie reviews or reactions to stuff. And I blurted out some type of random, this would be in my top 5 with this, and this. And, I'm just talking shit at the moment. But when I decided to sit down and do this thing, it's my favorite movies ranked. I had to think of the criteria. What's the main factor in this, right? What's the biggest reason for me putting these movies in this place along in these rankings? And when it finally hit me, I had to think about it for a while, man. I told you I've been thinking about this for over a year, planning it and shit. And matter of fact, it's probably going to be on. This is going to be the first time I ever do a video / podcast where I will video myself doing a podcast and release it on both mediums. In other words, so, because this is kind of a special one for me. I've always had the attitude that a podcast is not supposed to be visual. I know a lot of people who do it and I like watching them, but in essence, a podcast is like, it's audible, in other words. So the biggest thing, and I thought about it really hard. Finally, I came to the conclusion of it, and I was like, I can't believe I hadn't thought of this before. It's the rewatchability, right? It's how often do I watch these movies. In other words, I can't say such and such is my favorite superhero movie if I hadn't seen it in 6 months. Does that make sense? Like it does to me. This is my opinion on how this goes, because you're going to see on my list, the number one movie is almost a weekly watch. And that's when it hit me, I said, wait a minute. I don't watch this movie, at least once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks. I mean, I haven't seen this movie since fucking January. And that's where it starts clicking. Like, hold up. You can't say that a certain movie is your favorite in any genre if you ain't seen it. And your favorite movies are the ones that you watch the most often. This is my opinion. This is just how I think of this. So when this list comes out, a lot of people ain't gonna like it. There's a lot of people that ain't gonna like it. And there's a lot of people that will like it. It's just that my favorite movies in this genre, comic book / superhero, I watch them often. Like the top 10 of these movies, I've all watched them at least once in the past month. All right. So let me get out of here. My dogs are outside barking and carrying on out there, and I'm sure you guys heard a couple of them. But yeah. So I appreciate you guys for listening. Be on the lookout for me ranking my top comic book movies. Hopefully I get it done in the next couple weeks. Post in the comments, you guys. Tell me how you doing, how things are going. If you got any questions or comments about what I've talked about in this podcast, hey, drop some hints. You know what I'm saying? Or not some hints. Shit, what the fuck am I talking about? Drop some comments. Drop some likes. Share it if you'd like to. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at 2279ACS. Hey, ACS Universe Podcast. Out.
Run, 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 run.